Hello, this is Annie, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through setting up a new customer. To do that, you would go into your main menu, and you would select Customers. Please note, if you are not able to view any of the menu or tab options that I reference in this video, please contact the admin support user within your organization for assistance. When you select Customers, you're going to see an option to enter in a customer name, or you can select the new. Since we want a new customer, we're just going to select new. From here, you're going to enter in your pieces of information. So when you click on your first name, you're going to enter your first name if you have it, or you can just enter in a company name. Then you're going to press continue. If this customer wasn't new and already had historical data, it would go through and update that name on that historical data. We're then going to enter our information such as our address. We can put in a billing county if we would like, as well as our country. We then need to enter in a few key pieces of information to make the system function correctly. The first is our price type. This can be set up using our price type module and system settings. But our price type is going to determine what pricing this customer receives, what discounts this customer receives, what commissions will calculate for this customer, as well as things such as value lists. If this customer is a dealer, that's going to show up in the dealer list. If it is a wholesale, it might not calculate any royalties on it. So your price type is going to determine a lot of key pieces of information later on. So make sure each of your customers does have a price type assigned. If you select a dealer, as I mentioned before, that customer name is now going to show up in the dealer drop-down list. All dealers do need to also have the dealer assigned to them. And typically, again, those are going to match themselves. But if they are a dealer, assign them the price type of dealer, as well as also assign them as their own dealership. And I didn't commit that price type yet, so it wasn't showing in the value list quite yet. But now we can see that it did. If this customer is associated with any sales rep, you would click on the sales rep button and you would assign a sales rep to them. If they already have a department assigned to that sales rep, we can see that the department is going to fill in, as well as if a internal service rep was also linked, that will pull in based on your sales rep itself. We can also do the hierarchy of distributor. Again, that works similar to a dealership. And then we have our bill to customer. Our bill to is used for AR purposes. And that would mean that anytime a invoice is created for this Portage Bay Solutions customer, instead of the invoice going to Portage Bay Solution, it's going to go to one of the other customers set as a bill to customer. So this can be used in corporate billing situations. By default, all of your new customers are going to be active. If you ever need to make them inactive, you can change their status. We do have a couple of preferences that you can set, such as their preferred contact method, their preferred billing preference, marketing statuses, as well as we can set a default pickup location. So this is used to drive our position by locations report. And this is going to say which location are they likely to pick up the seed at. All of these defaults would carry through to any new bookings that are created. We can enter a default delivery type, so whether they're likely to pick up seed or get it delivered, what their default booking type is. So any new bookings that are created, what that booking type automatically pulls in as well as their terms. And then their credit status. Are they on hold for some reason, or do we need cash on delivery? Additional information we have are your customer phone numbers, email addresses, shipping addresses. These are all set up the same way, so I'll just kind of show you on one. We set the address by clicking the plus. If you're shipping to a warehouse location, you can select this location button and pull an address based on your locations. as well as you can then fill in the name, zip code, county. The zone and county information will pull based on your zip code. So when we enter our zip code, it's going to give us a list of options within that zip code, and we can then select. We can override any county information that pulls as well. If your address matches your billing address, if you use the same button, it's going to carry through the bill to address as the ship to address. Within your addresses, I forgot to mention, you can also mark them as defaults. And this is the same for your phone numbers and email addresses. So, what their default address is going to be, as well as for shipping addresses, you can mark which one is going to be considered the grower GPOS address. So, anytime this customer is set as the grower on a booking, which shipping address do we pull for their GPOS reporting address? If there's only one by default, then this is both the default and the GPOS address. So we do have 3 note sections that we can pull through. They can print on the booking confirmation, print on an invoice, a pick ticket, a delivery ticket, or your BOL. So any notes you enter here will display on the bookings themselves, but you can select if you want them to actually print on the customer-facing booking. You can also enter a contact history. So anytime you've made contact with that customer. So what the date was, who called, what the method was, reason, if somebody needs to follow up with them. If so, who that follow-up user was, and you can save some notes. Those contact histories will display on this main detail page, as well as it will display under your communication tab. So now some additional information that you can enter on your customers. Through the attachments tab, we can add a PDF, a picture, or a file. If it is a PDF, you can then interact with the PDF from here. Our bookings list is going to show us a list of bookings this customer has, as well as we can create a new booking by pressing the plus, or editing the booking by clicking on the booking number. Again, this is a new customer, so all of these tabs are empty at the moment. We can also, this is where we would create new payments, credit memos, debit memos, checks. You may be wondering how to create an invoice. Invoices are created through our booking and shipping process. So those are auto-generated. You can't just build an invoice on its own. That is built through your shipping process. So all inventoried items are going to start as a booking, and then we're going to deliver it through our pick ticket. And during that process is now when an invoice would be generated. Our pick ticket, again, is going to be our deliveries. So we can, because this customer is a dealer, we have 2 options. We can create a pick ticket where we're shipping any seed that they have on order as a customer, or any seed where they are linked as the dealer to a customer. If this customer you're setting up is a customer of a dealer or a grower, you would still want to make sure you assign the dealership. So anytime this is the dealer itself or the grower of a dealer, we're going to link it back to that dealer. Moving over to the license tab, this is where we're going to store our license information for our any restricted access use products, as well as Bayer, Corteva, Syngenta. The company is going to be listed or linked based on your traits. So what companies you have listed in your trait table. And then you would enter your license information. And we have additional information you might want to answer, such as when it was added to the profile, if there's a specific license version, or any notes, or if it expires, we can add that here. Bayer has also given us the option to add a new license based on their API. So if we click on the Bayer symbol, we can then search for a Bayer license using at least 2 points of contact. So the name, the city, the state, the country, or county, and then we would get an option from Bayer based on their system. Within our miscellaneous tab, here we can enter a bunch of miscellaneous information, such as, again, your pay terms. We can provide credit. So if you want to give in-house credit, we can put a limit on that. We can state if it's been sent to collections. If we have a customer reference number from another data system we need to reference, we can enter in that. We can set pallet information, bag weights if they can't be shipped specific weights or specific grades. We can enter all of that information in here, as well as if they are going to have a volume group that they default in, we can set that volume group within this customer miscellaneous page. We can also store our tax exempt information if they are tax exempt. Within marketing, this is where we have a bit of our CRM pieces. So we have our marketing table, so we can assign them to different marketing groups. We can also mark them as unsubscribed. We can associate them with another customer within our system. So if they have kind of two profiles or there's a father-son, we can kind of link them together through our associated customer table. We can give where this lead came from or how big their farm size is. We can also assign goals for this customer per class per year. So, how many units this year or over the next 3 years that we anticipate that they're going to sell. This can then be used in the goal report. And then whether they are flat, declining, and so forth. Once they have sales, we would also start building a units by class by year table for them. Within our line items tab, it's going to show a list of all lines that they have purchased within the sales year. And then we have just kind of two final tabs, our modification log. So this is anytime we've made changes, or not any changes, but some key changes within this tab. We can see who made the changes and when, as well as our custom attributes. So this is miscellaneous information that we might want to track. We can build that table ourselves using our custom attribute table. So we can press the plus, enter in a new one, or select something that we are also already tracking. And these custom attributes can then be used as filters on some sales or booking reports. Few final things to note. All of the customer tables are toggled per year. So when we switch through the year, we're going to see their sales or their items linked to that particular year. So when you toggle to year 2025, it is going to change what we can see on our invoice tab, our lines tab, bookings tab, etc. Our view totals button is going to calculate based on what year you have, what their total was, as well as what their overall customer balance is. And within our hamburger menu, we have some options such as printing a contact card, creating a new card from Bayer, a new customer from Bayer. So again, just like our license, we can pull a new customer from the Bayer API. And then when we do that, it would fill in our customer address, our customer license information, phone number information that Bayer has on file. We can make them inactive. We also have the option here to reply all returns. We can unapply all payments within that year. We can transfer our balances. So this would be used for moving customer balance from one year into the next year. We create a series of credit memos and debit memos. Or we can print all invoices for that specific booking year that you're toggled to. If you have any additional questions, you can reference our other training videos on our YouTube channel, email us at grow@seedsystem.co, or register for our free monthly Seed System support meetings.